Hey everybody, this is Tony with blessedtravelvacations.com, and today I am going to do a follow-up video to our previous Alaska video. Our first video, which was 8 things you need to know before you go cruising in Alaska. And that video was very, very successful. And so we thought, hey, you know what? Based on some of the feedback we've gotten, some of the experiences we've had, and lots of experience from talking with our clients that have gone to Alaska, we've got a brand new video. So make sure you subscribe and you like our videos. Check it out. Thanks for being back on with me. This is Tony with Blessed Travel Vacations, and today I'm going to do a follow-up video to our previous video that we did. We have booked a lot of people on Alaska cruises. In fact, that's probably now our #1 selling cruise destination is Alaska, and for good reason. Alaska's on so many people's bucket lists, and it's a beautiful place to go. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very unique in its settings, and it's easy to travel to from the United States. So consequently, we've had lots and lots of clients that have said, hey, we want to go to Alaska. But with that, we've also had some experiences with some customer feedback and even our own experiences and so forth, and things that we've seen that we really don't want you to make these mistakes. So I've got 8 of the biggest mistakes people make when they're booking an Alaskan cruise. And this is so important because I really want you to listen to all 8. I know you're probably doing tons of research. You probably watched lots of videos, but don't forget to like and share our video because it's so important, and subscribe to our channel. So I appreciate that. Well, let's get started. Number 1. So the #1 biggest mistake that people make in booking a cruise to Alaska is they wait too long to book. Now, I understand that oftentimes you're looking at your budget. You're looking at, do I have that time off? If we're going with a group, when can they go? And what about flights? And there's lots of things to consider. And, is school going to be out by that time? And there's a lot of unknowns oftentimes when you're booking that far in advance. But if you wait too long to book, well, typically 2 things are going to happen. Number 1 is if you wait too long to book, you're going to pay a much more premium price. It's all based on supply and demand. And so as the cruise ships staterooms start to book up and there's less and less rooms available, guess what? There's less promotions, the rates go up, and you're going to pay more. That's also the case with hotels in the area as well as airlines. As they start to sell more and more seats and less seats become available, you're going to pay a premium. So, if you want to save money, you definitely want to book in advance. Number 2 is there's going to be less availability. So oftentimes that when people are going with us and they call us and they say, hey, we're going to go on a cruise in a couple months or 2 months from now or 3 months from now or before school's over, the challenge is typically always that finding that perfect room. And this is especially the case if they're going with a group of people or they're going with a family or so forth. And that really becomes an issue because a lot of times we can't find the rooms that are right next to each other. They might be on different floors or different sides of the ship or different locations. And so ideally, if you're booking in advance, you can, the nice thing about that is you can definitely get rooms in most cases that are right next to each other, maybe even adjoining rooms, or at least on the same floor, which is great, same deck. And so booking it in advance really helps you save money and get the best rooms available. And so you definitely want to do that. Now, how far in advance should you book? Well, everybody's a little bit different. I typically recommend that you book a minimum of 6 months in advance. Ideally, if you've got more than that, then book more than that. I know there's always a concern of, well, I'm not sure if I can get the time off. I'm not sure about my health, or, we've heard a lot of reasons why people are a little unsure and so they want to wait. And I totally understand, completely reasonable concerns. But what I always tell people is that in that case, then you should still book as early as you possibly can, but try to get a refundable rate. And so the refundable deposits are going to be a little bit more. You're going to pay more for the cruise, but it's fully refundable until the last payment day, which is typically 90 days prior to your sailing. So in that case, you can book now, get all the benefits of booking really, really early, such as the best rates typically, and the best inventory to get you that room that you really want, with the added bonus of you've got many, many months of being able to decide whether that's going to work for you. And so if it doesn't work for you for whatever reason and you have a refundable rate, again, you're going to pay a little bit more than a non-refundable, but you've got that peace of mind, that security that if for anything reason I can't go, then I can get my deposit back. All right, number two. One of the other big mistakes that people make is they go really during the busy season. So typically the busy season is going to be anywhere from mid-June to late August. That's when all the schools are out, lots of families on board. It's a beautiful time in Alaska. Okay, so you're going to get typically nicer, warmer weather. However, it's really packed. So a lot of these Alaskan ports that you go to, they're quite small, and so you can have five, six, seven cruise ships arrive at the same time, all of them filled to capacity. All of a sudden, your excursions they're going to be sold out quickly. There's lines to do everything, right? If you want to go on a tram, or you want to go on a bus, or you want to go on a tour, there's typically lines for that. It just gets really, really busy, and so also the cost is so much higher if you go during those peak seasons. So what we recommend and what we tell our clients is like if you're not going with a family, or if you're able to, we recommend to go during the bookends of that season. So the cheapest is typically going to be early May and in October, early October. That's typically the cheapest because it's kind of it's just starting the season or just ending the season. But that's not really the most ideal time that we recommend. The ones that we recommend to our clients that are able to travel during that time frame is from late May to early June and late August to early September. Those will typically be the months that you'll get the best value for your dollar. You'll get typically again more availability and get that room that you really want. Sometimes there's better promotions around that time, and it could be in the form of an onboard credit or special pricing or something like that. But make sure you give us a call, and if you have some flexibility with your schedule, definitely let us know, and we'll recommend that time. All right, number three. Going along with our 8 biggest mistakes people make when booking a cruise for Alaska. The number three mistake is that people focus way too much on the ship. Now, there's some beautiful ships in Alaska, and if you can afford the biggest ship, the nicest ship. There's some really gorgeous ships out there, and some of the cruise lines are taking up some of their really nice ships up there now, and so. It's very tempting to get one that's got a lot of amenities and it's really big, and maybe it's got great water slides and a water park, or it's got some of the really cool amenities that you've seen from like Norwegian or Disney or Royal Caribbean. But the thing is this: you're really not going to spend a lot of time on the ship. In fact, most Alaskan cruises you're going to spend most of the times in port. You're going to go out and explore. Alaska's all really about exploring the ports and getting to know the culture and getting to know the people there, and doing some really great outside stuff, right? Some outdoor stuff. So you're not spending a lot of time on the cruise. And unlike, like, for example, a Caribbean cruise where you might spend 2 or 3 days at sea, in Alaska, you're going to spend most of the time at port. So you don't really have that much time to enjoy the ship. Now, I'm not saying, again, get the ugliest ship you can find. Of course not. If you can, we can get you on a beautiful Norwegian or Carnival or Royal or so many more that go out there, right? We're happy to do that. Princess has a Discovery Princess up there. And so we've got great ships that are out there, and you'll definitely enjoy them and love them, but don't make that necessarily your determining factor. Look at itineraries, look at budgets, look at places it's going to cruise to. I would put a little bit more weight on that in this case on an Alaska cruise than I would on the ship, because again, on the ship you're not spending as much time on the ship. All right, number 4, one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when they're booking Alaska cruises is they only consider leaving out of Seattle. Now, Seattle is a great port to leave out of. It's really easy to get in and out of. You fly to SeaTac. It's about 30 minutes from the airport where most of the ships dock at. Great hotels, so you can go in a day before, stay a day after. And it's just really easy to get in and out of. You don't have to fly internationally like you would with Vancouver. And typically you'll find great rates out of Seattle. It's just kind of easy to get in and out of. So it's really, really good. But there are other options For example, you can certainly sail out of Seattle, but you can sail out of Vancouver, um, which is just a little bit further north, out of San Francisco, and even Anchorage, Alaska. So you can fly up to Anchorage and sail down, or sail up to Anchorage. You should also consider doing a one way. A lot of people don't know that you can do that, but you can do a one way. So you can fly up to Anchorage and spend some time there, and then take a cruise ship down, and that will drop you off at either Vancouver, or sometimes Seattle, but typically Vancouver, or you can pick it up in Vancouver and then sail up to Anchorage, and that's really nice too because you're only going one direction. You're not going in a circle. Sometimes you might have an additional port. You get a different view. You get to experience Anchorage, which is really nice too. So that's really really nice. Also, I would tell you to consider a land tour. They're really, really great. So land tours will combine some of the best benefits of being in Alaska, such as maybe a train, or maybe going to Denali National Park and doing a land portion of it, and then a shortened cruise. So you might do 4 days of the cruise and then 4 or 7 days of the land portion of it. So it's really, really neat. They've got all kinds of different packages available, and most of the cruise lines offer some type of land cruise option, and it is really really good. You get to see more of Alaska, so not just the cruise ports, but you actually get to see some of Alaska that, like Denali National Park, that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see. So consider doing something outside of just Seattle, and talk to us. Let us know what you're interested in doing. We'll give you some great options for that. Okay, number 5, moving right along. Oftentimes, the one of the biggest mistakes that we've seen people make is that they wait too long to get their documents ready. So you will need a passport book to travel to Alaska. Now, people think, okay, well, I'm just going to Alaska, but a lot of times that will stop in Vancouver, and so you'll need either a passport or an original birth certificate. Passports are so much easier to travel with. We just recommend it. Whether it's this cruise, or next year you're going to do a Caribbean cruise, or you're going to Europe or whatever, you're going to need that passport anyways. So get the passport. We highly recommend you get the passport. Right now, it is taking anywhere from 10 to 13 weeks without the expediting to get your passport. Quite frankly, in the summer, we were experiencing even longer wait times than that. And so that is so stressful. We've seen our clients get really, really stressed out because they don't know if it's going to arrive in time for their cruise. And of course, they're dependent on that. So book it, as soon as you know you're going to go to Alaska, or even if you're contemplating going to Alaska now, just get your passport. It's good for 10 years. Totally worth it. It's a great investment. Whether you end up going there or not, or you go somewhere else, you're going to want a passport anyways. All right. Number 6, one of the biggest mistakes that people make in booking a cruise to Alaska is they underestimate their total investment. Now, Alaska has some amazing promotions, and we have some amazing promotions. Even today, I looked, and we've got some really great promotions out there for Alaska. But oftentimes, that's not the entire cost or entire investment of this, amazing trip, right? There's an entire investment that you need to consider when booking an Alaskan cruise. The cruise itself will range, and we've seen this, it varies significantly based on a lot of factors. When you sail, what type of room do you get? Do you get an inside, an ocean view, a balcony, a upgraded suite? So it can range dramatically. Excuse me. But on average, you can spend anywhere from $500 and over 5,000 per person. A typical cabin, balcony room is probably going to be somewhere around $2,500 on average. But you have to factor in the crew appreciation, your spa if you want to do that, drink packages, excursions, all that stuff can really quickly add up. So shore excursions are not cheap in Alaska. They have really amazing shore excursions, whether it's out whale watching, or you want to go out and visit a glacier, or you want to go out fishing for salmon. There's just amazing things that you can do in Alaska, but they're not cheap, mostly because of the wages and so forth. But you should consider budgeting anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 per person for excursions, to really make the most of your trip. Now, can you do Alaska on cheap? Of course, and we'll have a video on that. You could just Get to the port. The ports are beautiful. Walk around, enjoy the ports, talk to the locals, and do a little bit of shopping and really not spend too much money at all. But if you really want to see Alaska, you want to see the glaciers, you want to go out and see some of the wildlife. If you really want to have some of those amazing experiences, then you're going to want to do an excursion, and I highly recommend that you do them through the cruise lines. All right, number 7. We're almost done here. Number 7, one of the biggest mistakes that we collectively here as a group have decided that people make when cruising to Alaska is that they buy the drink package. Now, hang on, don't shut me off, don't disconnect, don't say forget it, I don't believe this guy. Don't do that. Listen to what I have to say about that. Let me prove my point. Most Alaska cruises really only have about a day to 2 days of being at sea, right? Most of the time, you're going to be in port. It's going to arrive either early in the morning or kind of midday, and it's going to leave, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe even a little bit later than that. So the thing with that is if you're, on a typical 7-day cruise, if you're stopping at 4 ports, that means you really only have 2.5 days to really enjoy your drink package. Now, typically, it really depends. Every cruise line is a little bit different. So do your math, your own math. But in our experience in talking to clients that want the drink package, the typical break-even point for a drink package is anywhere between 6 and 8 drinks per day. Now, again, a lot of factors there, whether it's alcoholic, it's coffee or tea or water, that can be higher, it can be lower. But it's 6 to 8 drinks per day. And again, from our experiences, in some cases, it's considerably cheaper just to buy the drink, again, whether it's coffee, tea, bottled water, an alcoholic drink. It's just better or cheaper to buy it a la carte when you want it. If you're having dinner and you want a glass of wine, that glass of wine might cost you $6, $7, $8 for the glass plus gratuity. And so, if you're having 2 of those a day, that's still a lot cheaper than, anywhere from $80 to $120 per day for that drink package. So the drink package can really be a great value if you think you're going to use it. But in Alaska, because you're cruising so much, forgive me, because you're in port so much, you're not spending as much time on the ship, it may not be worth it for you. All right. And then number 8. So this is, again, we're talking about our 8 biggest mistakes that people make when booking an Alaskan cruise. Number 8 is they don't work with an agent. Now, I know you're saying, all right, well, you're just promoting your business. No, you would be right. That's true. We are promoting our business. But hear me out. The thing is this. There's so much to understand and learn. And that you would very much benefit from an experienced agent, whether it's Blessed Travel Vacations. We are an Alaskan expert, cruise expert. Whether you're working with me or someone from our team, and you're working with us on finding that perfect cruise for you, or another agency, we recommend that you don't go online. Just go straight to the cruise line, or go to maybe one of the big box travel groups and book online. We don't recommend you do that. We recommend you actually talk to someone, ask them some questions. Keep in mind that as agents, our role really isn't to represent any one cruise operator or cruise line. Our role is to really just make sure that you are getting the best value for your dollars, for your investment, right? We work for you. We don't work for the cruise line. And so in doing so, we're going to make sure that we're going to ask you lots of questions. In this particular instance, it might be better to sail on this cruise line versus that cruise line versus that cruise line. We may give you 3 or 4 options, and then you can pick the one that you want. A lot of times when you call the cruise lines directly, well, they're only going to sell you one product. That's theirs. With us, we want to make sure that it makes sense for you. You're going to get the best value for your money. Alaska is a beautiful place, and there's so much to see. Don't you want to work with someone that can guide you in the right direction and can really maximize the time and the money you've invested to go on this cruise? I think the answer is yes. All right. So those are our top 8 reasons why, top 8 big mistakes that people make when booking an Alaskan cruise. Make sure you don't make those mistakes We would love to talk with you if you're looking at booking an Alaskan cruise or considering it, even if it's 2 years from now, or if you want to do a group or it's just you by yourself. Make sure you give us a call. Our phone number is right down here. And make sure you follow us. Go to blessedtravelvacations.com. And again, thank you for your support. Can't wait to work with you, talk with you, and plan your perfect Alaskan cruise. Bye bye.